So the chick who you thought at first was a 5 or a 6, after a while she starts looking like a 7, 8, maybe even a 9 on those rough days. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yo, what is up, AD team? Austin Dunham back again with another video. So this video is not to negate any benefits or positive things about Nofap, because overall I do feel like Nofap is a great thing and there's a lot of benefits to it. However, in my journey of being on both sides, which is not doing Nofap for an extended period of time and also not engaging in Nofap in periods of my life, I have discovered that there are actually downsides to doing Nofap that a lot of people really do not talk about. All you really see, like I said, is the positive things, the superhero powers, all this positive stuff. But when I'm searching for the downsides, that's really not talked about. And I'm sure it's because the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. However, in this video, I do want to share some insight on the negatives, quote unquote negative, things that I've personally have experienced while doing Nofap. These may or may not be negative to you, but let's go ahead and get into it. First con of Nofap that I've discovered is that sometimes you will get so horny that it is distracting. Now, the rebuttal to this is just channel the sexual energy into something productive or whatever you're doing. That is taught a lot in the Nofap community, like channeling sexual energy. But the thing is that I'm always channeling my energy, whether it's sexual or not. I've always been a productive person when I was fapping and also when I'm not fapping. So now I face the issue to where I'm actually doing work at my home, doing whatever, and the feeling of the sexual energy is so entirely distracting that it makes me not think about anything else, even though I'm already channeling the energy towards whatever I'm trying to do. Point is, that feeling of just horniness and just being turned on by just everything can get very, very distracting. And you may or may not have experienced this, but I definitely have. Second one, and this is for my guys who are on Nofap and not semen retention. Let me make that clear. Semen retention is when you abstain from ejaculating at all. Nofap, you still can have sex. And then when it comes to that, I noticed that you're definitely not lasting as long, or it just takes more mental power and fortitude in order to last as long and not have premature ejaculation. Now, this is one of those subjects that really don't get talked about like that in the space, but it's definitely something I have experienced, being, you know, proud of my stamina and like what I can do in the bedroom. You know, I'm proud of what I can do. And with that being said, when I'm on Nofap for an extended period of time, I realize that goes all out the window, guys. Like, it's very, very hard. I'm gonna have to start looking around. I gotta start thinking about other things. You guys know the whole story when it comes to that stuff too. So, you know, if you're wanting to last longer, then engaging in Nofap for an extended period of time could potentially hurt that. Number 3, incredibly reduced standards. So the chick who you thought at first was a 5 or a 6, after a while she starts looking like a 7, 8, maybe even a 9 on those rough days. You guys know what I'm talking about. And it kind of goes with the fact of it being distracting, because now, since you're more turned on by a woman and everything looks good, you become more distracted by it. So you're in the gym, you know, you're distracted by all the women in the gym. You see a fairly average girl walking, but you just are like sexually stimulated and turned on just by the fact she's walking and swaying her hips. Whereas before, that really wouldn't have done much for you. Now, the goal with Nofap 2 is to not objectify women and view women in such a sexual manner. But it's weird, in my experience, it's kind of been the opposite. Since I don't engage in viewing porn or anything like that, it's made my real life standards go a lot down. And then from there, I'm more sexually turned on by things that I wouldn't otherwise be turned on about. And that can be, once again, very, very distracting. Number 4, potential erectile dysfunction. Now, this actually has not happened to me, but I did some research and it is a problem amongst some guys in the Nofap community. And I think it's because if you don't use it, then when the time comes for you to use it, your body's not going to know how to use it. So there's lots of problems and probably reasons why this potentially happens. But if I had to guess, that would be my case, is because since you're not using it and like your brain is reset all the dopamine, now you may experience erectile dysfunction type problems to where, you know, now it's time to perform and you can't even get it up in the first place. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, because once again, the fact that you're on Nofap, some guys have experienced erectile dysfunction because they watch too much porn. Then the last one, guys, is insomnia. So I think this coincides with having just too much energy, which I don't think is a con, but some guys experience just having just a burst of energy every single day. They're able to wake up early. They're able to, you know, actually channel their sexual energy into other things and get more done. But when it comes to nighttime, you know, it's 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you just cannot go to sleep for whatever reason, whereas before, you never experienced any sort of insomnia. Now, of course, there are ways to combat that by taking, you know, things like melatonin, making sure that you know, block any blue light a few hours before going to bed, listening to soft music, etc. So this overall is not a bad point. However, it could be a con if you actually value your sleep and getting the right hours every single night. Now, all these cons, I say this to say that once again, I do believe Nofap, the pros actually outweigh everything I just talked about. And if you're a guy who actually just cannot do Nofap, or maybe you experience a lot of these cons in a very, very negative way, I just feel like with balance, you're good. You know, I think that the guys who go on Nofap, they're doing it multiple times a day to where that's all they care about and think about. You know, they're going back to back 3-4 times a day. But think about it. Me, myself, I've seen a lot of success in my life, and I wasn't on Nofap, most of it, like 90% of it, to be honest. And I think it's because I've always had balance. I wasn't jerking off daily. You know, maybe like here or there, blue moon, once a week, max 3 times a week, like something like that, you know, to where I'm satisfying that sexual urge and all that stuff, but I'm also productive and able to get other stuff done too. But you know, I'm still getting my business meetings, so that's where they kind of meet in the middle. So find what works best for you, but that's what I have experienced. So hopefully you guys understand that and enjoy the video. Subscribe, like it. I'm gonna see you guys in the next one. Peace.